Hey, my friend. It is our new moon, our first new moon of 2026. And in this video, we are going to dive into what this new moon is all about, how we can work with it, what it's really asking of us, because man, this is an opportunity. My friend, welcome back to the Cosmic Mystic. My name is Danie C. Muniz. If we have not met, hello, it's good to meet you. Let me know if you are new here in the chat. If you're somebody that's been with me for a bit, let me know, say hi, welcome. I love when you guys comment, and I have learned how to see those now. So I can see who's here and say hi back to you and send you all kinds of good positive vibes for this new year. So this is our first official video of 2026 here on the channel. And if you are new here or you have been around, just some things that we are going to explore in this new year. We are definitely going to have our full overview videos. So look out for those around the first of the month. And then we will still have the new moon and full moon videos this year as well. As far as I have planned, this is what that looks like. But you know, we'll see how the year unfolds for us. But that is my intentions this year, is to do the full overview of the month, and then also do our new moon and our full moon videos. So look out for those. We no longer do the weekly videos around here, just in case you have seen the weekly in the past and you're like, where are they? They have been archived for now, at least for the future ones. And you can still catch the other ones, but they're old, so I don't know why you would, but moving forward, that's what we're going to do. But I thought I'd take a minute right now to let you know all about that. The other thing that you might want to know about this channel is we do use sidereal astrology. So everything I talk about is going to be in the realms of sidereal astrology, which is different than our tropical astrology friends, where they're looking at the sky just slightly different than we are. And here we are all about learning how to work with astrology. Okay, so my friend, my goal for you in this video is to understand what this new moon is all about, how you can use it, and most importantly, how the intentions maybe that you want to set around this new moon. So let's dive in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to look at the chart for this new moon. Now, I will also say that you might be listening to this and be like, wait, what are you talking about, a YouTube channel, Danie? And you might be here on YouTube and being like, wait, there's a podcast. Yes, so there is the Cosmic Mystic YouTube channel and the Cosmic Mystic podcast. Both of them have the new moon, full moon, and overview on there. In the podcast, it's just the audio. On the YouTube channel, you'll be able to see the charts, you'll be able to see me. And so you have both of those available to you. You also have other things that are on the YouTube channel, things that I've done in the past that you can see. There's hypnosis recordings, as well as some other teachings on here. And then on the podcast, you'll see more different teachings and other interviews with other spiritual entrepreneurs talking about their journey into spirituality. Over there, we like to talk about all things breaking free from the matrix. So you can definitely check out that as well. All right, my friend, let's dive in. So we've got our new moon here. As you can see, it is right here at 4 degrees in Capricorn. Now, what I want you to notice is, just as you look at this right here, very interesting, right? Because we've got a whole lot of energy right up in here. And then we've got this trine over here to Uranus, and the sextile over here to both to Neptune and Saturn, who are actually conjunct, who will be conjunct for most of this year. Okay, so let's talk about this, because this is an opportunity right here to rebuild your entire foundation of power, worth, and leadership. Power, worth, and leadership. And this is coming from a soul level transformation. So we're talking about a soul level transformation with this particular new moon. We are setting that foundation of how we want to build our power, or be in our power, be in our worthiness, and lead right, in our leadership. That is what we're looking at with this. Now, we just had our full moon in Gemini just a few weeks ago, and that really did demand us to speak from our unedited self, from our authentic self, saying what maybe we have denied ourselves saying, right? So now it's saying, okay, now that you have your truth, now that you know what you want to say, you know where you want to move from this place. Now, what are you going to build with that truth, right? I know what my truth is. I know what I'm ready to share. I know how I'm ready to show up. Now, what are you going to build with it? That's what this new moon here is asking of us, okay? So Capricorn is the architect. It is the CEO, the mountain climber. This is the sign that is all about mastery, authority, legacy, material manifestation. But when we've got some of these aspects here that we're going to pull this back up, like this connection over here with Mercury and Venus, with this, right, this conjunction here with Mars and Pluto, because these guys are all conjunct here. That's Pluto, Venus, the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, and Mars. Now, if you remember, each one of those planets represents something within ourselves, within us. And so we have all of these clustered together here, which is helping us building from that power. Okay, so when we look at this new moon with this Pluto energy, we're looking at what needs to die so that your true authority can be born, your true power, your true leadership can come forward. What needs to die? What needs to be transformed? What needs to be released, right? So this might be the old authority structures that you've operated from. Maybe there's that idea of earning your worth. Maybe it's you have to work really hard, or you maybe there's like this hierarchy that like this is better than this, right? These are ideas that maybe are outdated, right? The other one is facing your fear around claiming your power, right? Sometimes it's not for us about do I have power? It's like, I'm afraid if I really were to step into my power, I'm afraid of like how powerful I might be, right? I have a good friend of mine that's like, that's one of her fears is like, I know I'm powerful. I'm really scared that like, if I step into that, right? What if I fail? What if I succeed? What if people now see me and they don't like that power, right? Maybe some of my friends, they're not able to handle that power that I have anymore, right? So then I'm going to be losing people, right? These are all things that we think about on a subconscious level that are affecting us from being within our power. And Pluto's here like, okay, my friend, let's face that. Let's face it and let's claim that parts of our power. Now, for some of you, just because I know this working with so many women, that some of us are giving away our power. I actually had a conversation with one of my clients this week, actually yesterday, about claiming her power. And she's given her power away to the entire world, right? Based on her beliefs and where she's at on her journey right now. Everybody, right? Everything has power over her. And it was a realization for her of like, yeah, shoot, everything does have power over me right now. And it's because she's allowing it, right? And so that's something that we're working on to help her not feel so powerless, because she's got so much power within her. I actually think she's probably afraid, right? In my own personal opinion, I think she is afraid of her own power, right? So we also want to look at this as alchemizing our deepest wounds. Alchemizing our deepest wounds and letting that stand. And you've heard me say this before, letting our pain be our power, letting our pain be our credential, so to speak, right? Our diploma of saying, yeah, I know what this is and I know how to work through this. I know what this feels like, right? I would not be able to help people move through this world in certain ways unless I have actually gone through it myself. Like I have some opinions on parenting, right? But I have some opinions about children, raising children, when they're very little, like babies, up until like probably around 8 years old or so. I have opinions on that, but have I actually ever done that? No, right? I don't. I have experience with children 8 and over, right? And I can tell you about that journey. But the little ones, I don't have a lot of experience. Yes, I had nieces and nephews, and yes, I interacted with them at a young age, and I do have a little bit of experience, but I was not their mother, right? And so I can't necessarily tell you. I have ideas and thoughts on it, but I don't know what that lived experience is like. I can only come from my lived experience. So I can tell you what it feels like when your dad says you're no longer invited to family functions. I can tell you what that feels like because that was my reality, right? I can tell you what it feels like when you realize that you are not in a place anymore that is in alignment with who you are becoming, and how to navigate that space, especially in a corporate environment. I know how to do that because I did it, right? I know what it feels like to jump into entrepreneurship. So I can tell you about that journey and all the beliefs that come up, and how it's your biggest spiritual growth journey that you will ever be on. It's called entrepreneurship. I can tell you about that because I've lived that, right? And so that's what Pluto's here to say. Okay, you've lived these experiences. These are your wounds. These are your past. This is what you've experienced. And you can now be an authority in that because you've lived it. You understand it. Okay. So this is releasing that work hard, get ahead, right? Like that kind of energy. This is like, no, we're not here for that. This isn't 2026. We're not here for that anymore. And so what am I going to choose now? That's what this Pluto energy is. All right, let's move into this Venus energy, because this is Venus right here, right next to Pluto. And she is conjunct our sun and moon here. So this is worthiness. And we're talking about the soul level worthiness, right? And are we building our life? Are we building our businesses? Are we building ourselves from this place, right? And so one of the things that we do in the reset retreat, which as this video is airing, will be this week, will be in the next day or so. And one of the things that we do is we look at core values, and we build from core values, because I have a very strong belief that, there's a bunch of things that you could set goals around, but if you are not setting goals around the life that you want to live, and that is going to be in alignment with what you value and who you are and have that fulfillment, my friend, you are just having goals just to have goals, right? If I want my business to be at a certain place because I value my own time and I value, spending quality time with my love, then my business is going to be set up a certain way, and I'm going to have goals around my business that are going to help me achieve that, right? If I look at having goals, for using the example of my health and wellness, right? If I value growth, then how does that growth fit into my health and wellness? Well, it fits into me learning about my body, learning about the way my unique system works, and learning how to feed it and to move it naturally, so that I can, right, achieve that goal that I might have of just feeling good in my body, right? Because I value growth, right? That's how I can tie that in. So this moon is asking you, and from the Venus lens of, what do you value now that maybe you didn't value 5 years ago? Maybe there are things that you want to manifest, right? Around, excuse me, your worth, right? So maybe you're somebody who is in business and you're wanting to charge, but you're hesitant to charge, or you're hesitant to raise your prices, or you're hesitant to ask for the money, right? I know a lot of people like, yeah, I get that. I can get clients and I can do the work, but then when I gotta ask for payment, right? And then they get a little like, oh, right? Your body already knows what you are worth. So like, we want to align with that worthiness. We want to align with what we feel worthy of achieving. That's one of the reasons why when we're looking at pricing, I don't do a lot of business coaching, but, these things do come up in conversations, especially in Sacred CEO Mastermind. We'll be talking about things and it's like pricing. What do I price this? It's like, what do you feel, right? What does your body tell you should charge for this? No matter what the mind thinks, like we can work with the mind, but what does the body feel first? And then we can work from there, because you have to be able to sell something. You have to be 100% confident in the thing that you are selling and the price that you are selling it at. And then the other thing, because we are talking about Venus, looking at what relationships maybe that are ready to be restructured. So I want you to think about this from a foundational standpoint. We are in relationship, or we are in a relationship to everything. Everything has a relationship. We have a relationship to YouTube. We have a relationship to podcasts. We have a relationship to ourselves. We have a relationship to other people. Everything we are in relation to money, worthiness, healing, right? We have a relationship with it. And so Venus kind of overarches like that idea of relationships. And so when we're looking at this foundational energy, Venus is just simply here to say, hey, how are you in relationship to your own value, and how is that being expressed, right? Whether that isn't in your relationships with your family, with your friendships, with your clients, with your customers, with your, you might have coworkers, right? How are you showing up in that value? Okay. And what relationships maybe how do you need to restructure those relationships, right? And there was a lot that happened in 2025. And so as we move into 2026, looking at those relationships that maybe that were challenging to us in 2025, how are we going to restructure those relationships now in 2026? What does that look like, right? You might look at some of the systems and structures and strategies that you're looking at for this year that are actually around your worthiness, okay? Next, let's look at Mercury over here. Mercury is, what is the message? What is the message that you're here to build, that you're here to share into the world, right? Mercury in Capricorn with this new moon is all about your voice really being the leading point, right? Your message being that thing that is that mission, that is that legacy, right? That you're building into, and your lived experience, your truth being that authority, as we talked about with Pluto. So that voice really leading and being the thing, because whether your voice, and I want you to hear me for this, your voice could come in a number of ways. Now, my voice is really easy coming through a podcast or coming on video. I am much more likely, it is so much easier for me to just hit record on Zoom and pop in here and start talking about whatever it is that I want to talk about, that message that I have, that truth of my own lived experience in working with astrology, in working with helping women learn to trust themselves and stop abandoning themselves in their relationships, in their life, right? In the things that they're doing. I can get in here and easily do that. Some of you, right, might be you, are much better at writing that out. You might be better on Substack. You might be better at having a blog. You're better at writing the long captions, right, for Facebook or Instagram. Those are your fortes, right? So you go to the places where you are strong and get that message out. Use your voice. Your voice might be or come through some type of creative aspect. I have a client who is an artist, and her voice really comes out through her artwork. And I'm often encouraging her to show her art and to talk through like what came up for her as she did this, or what this means to her, or how she sees it, because that's where people can hear you, can hear your message, can hear your truth, right, coming through her explaining her art in this situation. I have another client who's a designer, and so she designs, she's an interior designer, and so she goes in and her her voice is through that design. It's through the way that she's able to see these spaces and transform these spaces. That is where her voice is coming through, right? And her message and helping people have spaces that they feel good in, right? That is her brilliance. That is her truth. That is her authority. And so I want you to look at that. This is what Mercury is bringing forward for you. Like, where do you want, or where do you feel comfortable, or where is it you being called? Because in some cases it might not feel comfortable. Like, I'll tell you this, speaking on stage is actually, I feel okay with it. I'm not like, oh my God, right? Like, that's the easiest thing ever, because I know I can still hone my craft a lot better. So I know there would be a stretch for me, right? Because it's a little bit more than where I'm at. Like, I can go to my local groups and speak and not have any problems, but you put me on other stages and I might have a little bit, right? And it might be like, oh, it's a space for me to grow. So I'm not looking at it from a place of where you just comfortable and stuck and stagnant. I'm also like, if a blog is comfortable for you, great, but how are you getting that blog post out? Now that's another story, right? So something for you to consider there. Now, this is thought leadership, right? I want you to be clear on that. This is the thought leadership aspect for you, is how can you bring your thought and the way you see the world and the way you do the magic that you do, your own medicine, like how can you bring that out into the world? That's what this Mercury, again, talking about the foundational, looking at that foundational grounding. The next one is Mars. So Mars here. Now, Mars is it's the willpower, it's the motivation, it's the drive. And so this is that decisive, strategic action, right? Let's go in disciplined, let's go in focused, let's go in strategically, like let's get in here, right? Being in Capricorn, it is much more strategic and focused and like long-term, like sustainability more than anything here. Mars, I love Mars in Capricorn because I'm like, yes, like let's build the solid foundation. And we just had Mars move into Capricorn not too long ago. So this is we're at the beginning of that energy, and I'm here for it. So it's like, if there's been some challenges or some struggles of like that mountain, we all have that mountain, right? What mountain, like let's name that mountain. What mountain are you ready to climb? What are you willing to commit for the long haul? Now, as I've been thinking about my word of the year, it doesn't come to me before the end of the year. It never has. I always have some ideas around it, and I've written some things here and there, and I started to notice the repetition of a particular word. And as we get closer to the retreat, this always happens, is I start to really feel the word like really speaking to me. And so I'm not 100% sure that this is the word yet. And maybe I'll do a podcast episode on my word of the year, how I chose it and why I chose it. But the word that keeps coming through that I'm hearing with this Capricorn energy as well is commitment. What am I committed to, right? Am I committed to the old frequency, the old Danie, or am I committed to the new Danie, the Danie I'm stepping into for the long haul, not this short burst of like just this, like what am I committed to for the long haul? What do I need to stop dabbling in, right? We do this, right? It's so easy for us to go dabble into this little thing and dabble into that little thing instead of staying like focused and committed and build the thing that we are building. It's so easy to get distracted by all the little things and to dabble into this and to dabble into this, but to stay committed. So my friend, I'm asking you is to stop letting this be a hobby. Stop letting whatever that is be a hobby, and be like, give it its true energy, its true essence, a business, right? Be the CEO, step into that CEO energy. That's what Mars is here asking you. Like, are you going to continue with your business as being this side hustle, this project that you're doing, right? Maybe it's a passion project, or are you going to put the energy into it as the CEO? Even if it is, my friend, something you do on the side, maybe you love your career and you're building this other thing on the side, still treating it with that energy, that committed, focused CEO energy. that, my friend, is building for lasting, right? Lasting, sustainable energy. Now, a couple of things with just Neptune and Saturn and this Uranus. First, Uranus is always going to bring creativity, innovation. And so it really asking you to be a little bit more innovative with how you're approaching these foundational pieces that we just talked about with Pluto and Venus and Mercury and Mars. Like, how can we be more creative and allow that innovation to come through as we look at building these foundations? And then Neptune and Saturn. Neptune is always giving us that ability to see beyond the physical, the ability to come into that intuitive energy and that knowing energy, those downloads. And so this is asking you to really step into allowing the divine timing, allowing the divine perspectives to come in along with the action, along with the focused, disciplined action. A lot of us love to live in the flowing and moving, but flow needs form just as much as form needs flow. And so we have to work, I've talked about this before, both together. We need the flowiness of allowing that intuitiveness and guided energy to come through, but we also need the structure, the form, the discipline in there to move things forward. And so there's also bringing that energy into you, that creative energy, that intuitive energy as you move through this. And I love that all of these planets are involved in this particular full moon. It's like everybody's here for us. Every planet, look at all the planets: Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, Pluto, Venus, Mercury, Mars, right? They are all here for you, supporting you in building that foundation for this new moon. So I'm going to ask you, my friend, what is it that you are committed to? What mountain are you committed to this year? Commit to whatever that mountain is that you're ready to climb, that you're ready to overcome, that you're ready to move beyond, my friend. This is the initiation right here for that power, for you to, I think of it as I'm going on a journey. I just started watching The Amazing Race. My love and I just started watching it. We're about to finish the first season, probably today or tomorrow. And as I look at it, I'm like, wow, there's so much growth. This is why I love shows like this. I just finished, we watched Survivor. I love shows like this because it's that growth that we go to, and these people coming and learning about aspects of themselves, coming into their own power. And this is what I see here. This is our initiation point with this new moon to move into our power, to move into building that strong foundation for ourselves as we enter into this new year. All right, my friend, this has been all about our new moon in sidereal astrology. And I hope that you take some time to set some intentions around that mountain that you are here and ready to climb in this new year. My friend, be sure to stay tuned for our next video, which will be all on our February overview, what's happening in sidereal astrology in February, and then our full moon that is happening very beginning of February as well. We'll talk about it then. Plus, I also want to say there's a couple of new things that I will be offering in this new year, different ways that you can work with me in this new year. I'm also looking at putting a very easy understanding of astrology so that you can understand these charts as we look at them for this new year. It's been in the making for a very long time, and I think this is the year it's ready to come out. And so look out for that coming this year. New ways to get involved in different things that I'm doing this year. There's lots of goodness coming this year that I'm so blessed and honored to be able to create. And so if you want to follow along with all of that, plus I do want to mention here, I do put out a weekly reflection email. And this is one of my favorite things that I started doing. I've been doing it for a while, but I refined it this last year in 2025, and I'm loving the format. As I looked at changing it, in 2026. I was like, no, because I love this format. There's a couple things I'm going to be adding into it, but I love the format. And what it has in there is just a personal reflection from me, something that I'm moving through my own awareness, coming into my own awareness. And so it invites you to look at something that might be in your awareness around the same thing that I might be moving through or looking at or realizing about myself. And then it has a tool in there. And that tool is either a somatic practice or something that you can do, some tool that you can use immediately or that week to help you move through whatever it is that this awareness is bringing to us. And then it has an action that you can take. So if you're somebody that is like looking for some more tools in your tool belt, that is looking to stay into action with things, then definitely make sure that you get on my newsletter. You can DM me over on Instagram newsletter, and I will send it over to you, or just feel free to message me, and I can definitely make sure that you get on that newsletter. It is my favorite thing that I do. It comes out every Sunday, and I absolutely love it. And there's always other things that come in through emails about what's going on in astrology, looking at doing some oracle card pulls, and sending them out via email in this new year on a maybe weekly basis. We'll see. So once you get on that list and get my newsletter, then you'll get the emails and you'll get all the fun stuff that's coming in the new year. So I hope I sold that to you. Come on over and get onto that newsletter with me. Okay. That's it, my friend. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. Much love and light to you. And remember to keep shining your unique light.